The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
By tomorrow, I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone!
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention when you were just talking to me.
Hi, Tom. We're live. Share, everyone. Like and share, please.
Every once in a while, a politician I haven't talked to in a while because they're supposed to be mad at me.
They're hitting you up. But you know what year it is, right? It's election year.
It's totally so true. It is so true. There are people that will not take my call in August of an off year. Even if I text, it's an emergency. I really need 3 minutes of your time. They will not. They'll see me at Hispanic Week and they'll run the other way. And then, wow, all of a sudden, January of the year, they got to come up for re-elections. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Want to go for lunch?
Why can't they just stay friends with you? What's the issue?
Yeah, well, it's all the deniability, right? And you see this more where I'm controversial. Like, I'm not controversial in Lawrence. Right? Pretty much everyone in Lawrence loves me now. Even people who used to not like me now, they're kind of
but they keep your distance. Some of them keep their distance.
Well, they do, right? Because they think I don't like them. They're afraid of me, right? Because they've treated me like crap.
Unless they're doing something bad,
right?
Wouldn't you say?
But then you go to Methuen and it's a little bit more than 50-50 in my favor now. 2 years ago, maybe 75% of the politicians in Methuen didn't like me. Now it's maybe 60-40 in my favor.
Okay.
And it fluctuates, and that's why I play the long game. I've been around a very long time. I plan on being around a very long time, as long as I live that long. And you're right. I say to them, there's a certain person that reached out to me this week, and I'm like,
that's weird.
For a year I've been trying to get on your radar screen, and now all of a sudden you're coming up for re-election. Now you're coming up for re-election. Now all of a sudden, hey, Tom, let's have coffee. Hey, can I write a column for your paper, Tom? Hey, Tom, I got some breaking news for you. Hey, Tom, guess what? Oh, it's unbelievable. And this particular state official, I blew up his phone on a Saturday, like 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
Like for an hour, I blew up his phone because I just needed a one-word answer from him.
Okay.
You didn't have to call me back. Here's my question. I just need to know. I'm working on a story. You're the one that knows the answer. I couldn't get a one effing word answer out of that guy.
That's awful.
Not one word.
Everyone.
Now it's like, Tom, I know you like Mexican. Can we go for Mexican, Tom? Tom, what do you think, Tom? You going to Casablanca, Tom?
Well, the same way they use you, use them too. Have them bring you dinner, take you out for dinner.
No, wait, listen. I am not going to ever become them.
Oh, okay.
That's why I've been around so long, and a lot of these politicians are fly-by-night.
Got it.
They come in, they're big for a little while, then they disappear because they have no integrity. Most of these people have no integrity.
I would take free lunch any day of the week. You use me in my paper, why not? Welcome in, everyone. Please like and share to groups.
Oh, shit, I got... can you share it?
Where?
I can't share it onto my page.
Like on your...
Yeah, I can't... Yes, I'm in Facebook jail. I don't know why I'm in Facebook.
Let me see if I can tag
They won't
you.
tell me why I'm in Facebook jail. I think it's because I downloaded a virus.
On Facebook?
Yeah, no, I downloaded. I got an email that looked like it was from somebody that I know, and it was actually from her address. And I opened it. It was a PDF.
You can never do that.
And then within a minute, Facebook was telling me you can't post. You can post, but you can't post links, and you can't share.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let me see. Is there like a Salisbury group? Have you shared it already?
I shared it to my page into my Selectman page.
I should probably start the show, huh? We went right through Mel, all the way to the extended Mel. Hi, how you guys doing? My name's Tom Duggan. Here with the Paying Attention podcast. High atop the Golden Seal Apothecary, which I think still closed, right?
It's open, but no one goes there.
No, there's nobody.
I went there to buy a water bottle. They don't even have that, Tom.
Really?
They have nothing. Like
They sell strawberry shakes, but I didn't have time to do the
I
strawberry.
went over there for one and didn't have them.
Really?
Yeah. It's like 80% of the store is like nothing there.
Right across the street from the plush and luxurious Valley Patriot offices here in downtown North Andover. I'm going to thank. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to thank the sponsors. We got a couple things about Methuen real quick, and then my guest today is. He reminded me how long we've known each other, and this is how you know you feel old. I said, hey, we've known each other since about 2016, right? And he goes, no, I remember when Kevin Leach first ran, and I went, oh, my God, Kevin Leach, that was 2004. That's 22 years ago. That's when we started the paper. That was the year we started the paper.
I was
That's
in middle
how long
school.
we've known each
I was
other.
in middle school.
Yeah, thanks. All right. Now
Thank you.
I'm complaining that he's making me feel old, and you make it worse.
Yeah,
thanks. I appreciate that.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
All right. So I got to find a way, though. We have to find a way to get the show onto my page.
Well, I tagged you. I shared it and I tagged you. I don't know if it's coming up though.
Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to do an on-air production before we hit the
Like
the
always.
sponsors. Well, because I don't know why
Yeah,
I'm
I
in
did.
Facebook jail. It's on my page.
Yeah, it's on your page.
It is on my page.
Yes, it is.
You're right. I see it on my page. Good. All right, let's get to our sponsors here. By the way, if you have not heard the breaking news, we broke it last week at the end of the show. If you were a die-hard fan and you waited till the very end of the show last week, we broke the news that Brando's, Billy Griffin, our buddy from Brando's with Scott Brandolini, they brought back the institution of Brando's, and they opened it up on Broadway in Haverhill. And now they have purchased from our good buddy Dean Chongras, who's been on the program, they purchased Harrison's roast beef. And I said to him what anybody I think would ask, you bought Harrison's, are you going to keep the roast beef? Because everybody likes the roast beef at Harrison's. And he said, no, we're not. We're doing Brando's. We're Brando's. We're not Harrison's.
That makes sense.
We're going to use that location. And so if you really want good roast beef, and they're not a sponsor, so I'm not shilling, but if you really want good roast beef, and you guys are going to probably be surprised when I say this, but if you want the best roast beef, there's a lot of roast beef places around. There's a couple in North Andover that are good. Nico's is good over on Sutton Street. Very good. I would stay away from J&M on Main Street. Not so good. The place on First Street here, crap, I can't remember the name of it. And but the best is Big and Beefy on Broadway in Lawrence. And I'm good friends with the health inspector in Lawrence. And actually, I'm not good friends.
Be careful.
I have a friend who's good friends.
Don't
with
snitch on Big and Beefy. Everyone goes there after
No,
the
I'm
club.
I'm going the other way.
Oh, okay. Because
They
there's a lot to
they
snitch
tell
on.
me that when they inspect Big and Beefy, it is by far the cleanest food establishment in the Merrimack Valley.
Oh my! Are you serious right now?
I'm 100% serious. They go in. The inspectors in Lawrence go into every food place, every restaurant place. They inspect the kitchen. They say every time they go to Big and Beefy, it's one of the cleanest places. And it's probably because they're open all night, right? So you're open all night, and there's people there, and they're just constantly cleaning while they're working.
Who owns Big and Beefy?
I don't know. I have
is
no.
it Latino?
I have no
or is
idea.
It white guy, Italian,
I have
Irish,
I have no clue.
Portuguese.
I might even know them, but I don't know. Well, let's thank our sponsors, Century 21 McLennan Real Estate, Brando's. If you want cutlets, boy, let me tell you, Billy Griffith put it together. The Brando's that exists now, and we just talk about Brando's the whole show. There it is, right on the screen. Right on the screen. The Brando's that is now is actually better than when Brando's closed when it was in Lawrence back in the 90s. The cutlets are huge. The prices are half of what you get anywhere else. You go across the street here on Main Street to J&M Subs. You're paying $20 for a small sub. You go to Brando's, you're paying $20. You get it's like 3 subs. You have to. It's like you could feed a family of 4 with 1 sub.
Wow.
Like so, you're married. You got 3 kids.
I'm not married, but I do have 3 kids.
Okay, 3 kids.
4, actually 4.
4. So you could go. You could get 2 cutlet subs at Brando's, or 2 subs of any size at Brando's. You and your family will eat, and you'll have food left over. Like, you don't even have to order extra stuff. I mean, you should. You should get, like, the hot wings and stuff. But who else? Total Mortgage, the Zini Pesh Law Office. They're Italian. You know how Italian they are over there. On the Go Notary, the Hungry Traveler, finally on board. We're happy about that. We love it.
Salisbury?
What's that?
That's Salisbury.
In Salisbury, right? With our guest today is
What do they have? Food?
it's seafood.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of everything.
I'm a big seafood guy.
I love seafood.
Do they have everything? Like they have.
Yeah, they have the meats.
They got
are good.
lobster?
The lobster, and they got good pasta. They got a little bit of everything.
pasta?
There's salad bars.
See, I would never order pasta at a restaurant because for 99 cents you get a box of pasta to last you a week at home.
You get it with a cutlet
sauce.
on top of stuff.
Yeah.
Some people make their own pasta too. It's better.
I like the Hungry Traveler, and I do stop in periodically. And I love the seafood trio. That's what you got to get. You got to get the fried seafood trio there if you're going to get anything. Marsan and Son Construction, EIS, Investigation and Gun Trading, Tomo, and Shaken Seafood. And before we move on from Tomo, I want to say my heart goes out to Jill Stacklin. And why am I putting Jill Stacklin and Tomo together? So every time I go into Tomo, we're there at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, at least before I broke my neck. Her son John was at the bar. And I would stop and we would chat. And the funny thing is that we would chat like twice a week at Tomo. And I never realized that he was Jill's son. And at some point, I know he told me that. But
Wait,
when,
I saw him.
Yes,
the
the
day
guy
that we went.
right, the day that we went, the guy at the corner bar that we
Yeah.
stopped to talk to for 5 minutes, that was Jill's son. He passed away. And
Oh, that's
very
so
young
sad.
guy in his 30s, very young guy, and like a very gentle guy. At one point, he said to me, he goes, "You've been picking on my mom a little bit." And I go, "Yeah, well, she can take it." He goes, "Yes, she can." And that was the end of it. Like, he wasn't mad. He was,
That is so
and
sad.
so I feel bad, and I feel even worse that I was not able to get to the wake or the funeral because I barely made it across the street to the studio here.
She's usually. I'm sorry. She's usually on the event committee for the bash.
She's on the bash committee.
Okay.
And she also helps TMF. She's a member of TMF.
Yes.
So she comes and she helps the homeless almost every week. Sometimes, like there are times you just can't be there. But she's one of those people that's almost always there.
Okay.
She's a staple. And so I feel bad for Jill. I also feel bad for the rest of her family. John, and I didn't know John well, so I'm not trying to pretend that we were best friends.
No.
But I did know him, and I did talk to him, and I saw him, I think, the night before or 2 nights before. I went out with Zaka from AFC Urgent Care with his wife,
Yeah, you
Tamara,
were there.
and stopped and chatted with him on our way in. And that was when he said to me, "You've been picking on my mom a little bit, huh?" Because Jill and I, it's a love-hate
He
relationship.
works there, or
No, he hangs out there. I think he
hangs
lives
out there.
near there.
Okay.
And he hangs out there with his friends. In fact, he hung out there with a guy named Frank Belushi, who was my cellmate at Lawrence General when I was in the hospital.
Oh, I was like,
when I died,
cellmate.
well, I mean, you can't leave, right? You're in a hospital. There's nowhere to go. And he was my roommate when I was in the hospital. So the 3 months I was in the hospital, you get to know someone pretty good when you're in the hospital with them. And one of the things he said to me is, "I know you. You always stop and talk to John at the bar, and I hang out with John at the bar." So I do feel bad for Jill, and I know that. Jill and I have had some issues, even most recently.
Yeah, but you guys are like friends that
But
bicker.
yeah,
on
that's
each other,
it.
you know?
It's my relationship with Jill is a love-hate relationship. We love each other. We hate each other. She's kind of like a sister, right? Like every once in a while, she's yelling at me, calling me a piece of crap because she's right. I did something stupid, and vice versa. So our heart goes out to her and to her whole family. And I wish that I could have been there. And if I could have been there, I would have been there. Who else do we have? Shake and Steve. Clear Path for Veterans New England. AFC Urgent Care. We were out with Zaka. That was a lot of fun. I can't tell you how much fun I have with Zaka Shafiq. And I used to say that my good friend Kamal in Lawrence is my Muslim friend.
He's Muslim?
Yeah, Kamal is Muslim. And I used to say Kamal's my Muslim friend, and people would say, "Well, why do you call me a Muslim friend?" And I would say, because he's my only friend that's Muslim.
And you're Jewish.
And I'm Jewish, and most people would think we wouldn't get along. Well, now I'm hanging out with Zakir all the time, and him and his wife are also Muslim.
Where are they from?
So he's from Pakistan,
Okay.
and they moved here to North Andover. I think he originally moved to Canada, came down, lived in...
Hated it, probably.
Probably hated it, right? He's been on the show, and we're gonna have him back again too.
Okay.
But we've been hanging out with him. We've been doubling with.
You guys are really good friends. You always speak highly of him.
He's a good guy. He's a really good guy, and I love everybody over at AFC. Anyways, they've been really good to the Valley Patriot for sure. And we gave him an award at the Valley Patriot last year,
You did.
Bash, because of all the money he raises for scholarship kids, not just for our Bash, but. I keep calling it Dollars for Scholars, but that's not the right name. There's another scholarship group in Lawrence.
Don't give him
that he
Don't
works
give him
with, and he also gives money to the North Andover kids for scholarships. I know this is like a 2-hour open, right? Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors, Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office, who started his own scholarship with the Valley Patriot Bash this year, Stadium Chiropractic, and a free shout out to JG's Ice Cream, and my very good friend Paul Lambert from Lambert and Randone, if you have any issues, and Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors.
Wearing green today.
Yep, he's
representing
sponsoring
for the St. Patty's
the
Day.
intern girl came. Now, why is your hair up when we went 10 rounds?
I'm waiting for my pay so I can go to the salon. Unless someone wants to send it to me through Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. I'll take cash, whatever you guys want.
Why do you need a hair salon to just put your hair down?
Because I want to cut it, my ends out a little split.
No
and
cutting.
stuff.
No, there's no cutting allowed here. There's no cutting.
Cash App.
You're just jealous we didn't get to wear our hair up.
Right, exactly, right? Did we get everybody? JG, I think we got everybody. So I think we have 2 new sponsors coming on. But if you'd like to sponsor the show, listen, this is the time to get in. It's an election year. And even though to you guys, it's a long way away. It's in November. It happens very fast. And when you're in an election year, especially a state election, we have a lot of state candidates on. We have a lot of people watching from across the Merrimack Valley. It's not just the usual local stuff that we talk about, which is one of the reasons why I want to have Gil Medeiros on. I think he should be running for state rep. But we do have a couple things we want to get to. So first, I get some breaking news straight from Methuen Mayor DJ Beauregard's office. Why is it not opening? It just does not like me. So apparently, DJ Beauregard, the mayor of Methuen, has announced that Paul Jensen, the Veteran Services Officer in Methuen, is retiring, and he has appointed, wow, you couldn't get a better guy to do this. He is appointed as the temporary Veteran Services Officer while they look for a permanent replacement, retired Fire Chief Tim Sheehy. And you can't find I don't know anybody who doesn't like him, right? I just don't. Like, you can disagree with his opinions, but I've known Tim Sheehy for probably 25 years or longer, and maybe even longer than that. And I don't think I've ever had one person say to me, oh, Tim Sheehy, can't stand that guy. Never once. Now, I'm sure there's somebody out there. Nobody's perfect. But he's just one of those happy guys that's always smiling, always happy. He goes to every event. He contributes to every event, whether it's muscular dystrophy. He contributes to our bash every year. So I don't have enough to say about him. He's a Desert War hero. Let me see. Somebody
He's a
said,
firefighter now?
He was the fire chief.
Oh, okay. And now he's retired?
He was a Marine in Desert Storm, and he retired as fire chief.
Okay, got it.
And so now that Paul Jensen has stepped down to retire as VSO,
so he hired a okay.
He's just acting until they find someone.
Got it.
And let me just say,
not Kels.
What?
They're not hiring Kels, right? For that.
No, they're not hiring Kelsey. No.
God.
No.
Oh
or her husband Dan.
Who's that?
Her wife Dan.
Who's that?
Kelsey Shabilia's wife Dan.
No, I'm talking about Kels Birchall. Or whatever. Isn't she like a homeless veterans person?
Kels, yeah. Kels Debo. Oh, boy. How did we get down that rabbit hole? You're killing me, kid. By the way, you know who would be really good for that? And I probably shouldn't say it publicly because I don't want to hurt his chances. But a guy that went for that job when Paul Jensen applied for it. And by the way, said, I'm not going to retire. If you give me this job, I'm not going to retire in a couple of years. If you give me this job, this will be my job till the end. Randy Carter, the head of the Bridge Club in Lowell, who does he works with homeless veterans in Lowell, worked at Clear Path for Veterans New England. He was part of John Ratka's team that started Veterans Northeast Outreach in Haverhill. You can't find a guy more dedicated to veterans. Like, you just can't.
Of course not.
And this is a guy, by the way, that when I'm out with TMF and we're feeding the homeless, if we find a veteran in a tent on the banks of the Merrimack River, and this has happened, in the middle of February 5 years ago, we found a veteran in a tent on the banks of the Merrimack River, and the guy said something to the effect of, can you believe that they spend all this money on illegal aliens and I served my country? And I said, are you really a veteran? And we have a test to give them because a lot of people say they're veterans.
What do you ask?
To get something.
Like how many
Well,
chamber?
I say,
like,
well, no, like,
do
you have a
DD?
DD-214? If they don't know what a DD-214 is, you know they're full of shit, right? If they say yes, there's a couple questions about the DD-214 you can ask them that you can tell.
You can just look up in the system, right, as well?
Well, they can, but you can't when you're on the banks of them. You can't when you're out, like, in the field. So I would call Randy. 2 o'clock in the morning, he gets in his car. He drives down to the banks of the Merrimack River. He climbs down the banks with me, talks to the guy for 3 minutes, determines, yep, the guy's actually a veteran. Put him in his car that night, 2 in the morning, drove him to Devon's. Put him in a unit that night, in an apartment unit that night. The following morning, got him all the paperwork he needed for all of his services. You can't find a guy. Jesus. The only guy I know that was more dedicated was John Ratka, and that's why we name our Hero Veteran Award at the Bash for John Ratka and have a scholarship for John. So I think picking Timmy Sheehy as the temporary was great. And I'm hoping that Randy even applies. He may not even want it, but boy, I'll tell you, Methuen would do really well to hire him.
And he's also a Methuen resident too.
He is a Methuen resident. Yeah, he is. We have a couple of other things for Methuen. So what do we have?
I'm scared.
Kristen Maxwell's also scared.
She's watching.
So here's the thing. So if you follow Kelsey's wife Dan, they've been telling you for the last week that this controversy over the Methuen School Committee with Laurie Keagan, Laurie / Larry Keagan, there's nothing to see here. It didn't really happen. It's all a lie. It's all. He actually said in writing on the internet that this whole controversy with Laurie Keagan and Kristen Maxwell was a distraction from a Methuen city councilor getting in legal trouble. Methuen city councilor in a private life got in legal trouble in another state, which to me is not news. And by the way, as a side note, I have a lot of people crapping all over me on Facebook. That's fine. I'm used to it. Saying, you're only not reporting on that story because she's your friend. No, I'm not reporting on that story because it's not friggin' news. It's not news. If a city councilor in Methuen, a selectman in Salisbury, a selectman here in North Andover gets arrested for beating his wife, gets arrested for drunk driving, gets arrested for not paying child support, that's not news. To me, a real news journalist, not someone who just plays one on the internet, that's not news because it doesn't affect the job that they're doing. Now, show me a state rep, like when Dempsey and Haverhill got arrested for drunk driving. Sure. State reps vote on drunk driving laws. That's news because you're a drunk driver and you're voting on drunk driving laws. That makes it news. If this city councilor had done something illegal while she was performing her job as a city councilor, while she was visiting a police station, while she was doing something at a school, that would make it news. But she didn't. Okay? So that it has nothing to do with her being my friend. If Dan Shabilia himself, when he was on the school committee, got arrested for drunk driving, and he hit somebody, I still would not report that as news. I mean, if somebody dies, maybe, then that makes it news, right? If it's something serious, then that makes it news because then it's news no matter who you are. Yeah. But there are people that get arrested for drunk driving every day in the Merrimack Valley. Every day in Salisbury, the state troopers are pulling people over on their way back from the beach. Right. Every day in Methuen, every day in Salem, New Hampshire, on 28, on 93, people are getting pulled over for drunk driving. It never makes the news because people getting arrested for drunk driving is not news. However, when a school board member walks into a school of all places, a public building that is a school, walks over to her colleague on the school committee, when you've got 8 chairs in an empty room, and you're going to see in a second, we're going to show you the video.
That's crazy.
And she walks in, and she's mad, not because somebody beat up her kid, not because someone stole money from her, not because one of her colleagues cut her off in traffic. Those are things you can understand being upset about.
The hormones.
No, Laurie / Larry Keagan, if she has hormones, walks into the school board meeting before the school committee meeting, and she sees Kristen Maxwell, her colleague, sitting in the seat that Kristen Maxwell has had for 2 years on the school committee. And she says, that's my seat, get the F out of my seat. And she walks in, you'll see her when she walks in, she kind of charges at her. She walks in pretty aggressively at her. And then she sits down next to her, and I'm going to show you the video in a minute. But for those who haven't heard, while she's sitting there, she sits next to her, then she pulls a chair next to her to intimidate her. Because everybody knows, and even though Kristen's my friend, we just call it like it is. Kristen's a little timid, right? She's not.
Can we just play the video so you can see what happens?
We will.
Given, like,
we will. Okay, all right. So let me show you what happened. She took her laptop, she threw it on the ground, right? So here she is. We slowed it down a little bit because I think she sped it up. So here comes Laurie / Larry into the school committee meeting. Look at all the empty chairs where she could have sat. And she's saying, get the F out of my chair. Right? So instead of sitting somewhere else, what does she do? She sits right next to her, and then she pulls her chair close to her. Freaking hilarious.
You could see that she just wanted to start something.
Absolutely. She's starting right out of the gate.
Thank you for the star, Sam.
And so now Kristen is like, well, look at all the empty chairs. Like, go sit somewhere else. What are you, 5? Like, well, seriously, what are you, your chair? This is your chair?
Look how she points.
Look,
she threw something.
She threw her laptop on the ground.
Whose laptop was that?
That was Kristen Maxwell's laptop, right? And then she throws papers in her face. I think that's on this video as well, right? So now Kristen's like, well, just go sit somewhere else. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you, 5? I think we slowed it down a little too much, but that's all right.
Sorry.
Yeah. There you go. So look at the paper.
She's throwing papers at her. And now other people have showed up. And within by the way, this lasted 20 minutes. Now the police chief shows up, and he's telling Laurie, like, listen, just move away from her. Why are you so close? You're intimidating her. And she was intimidating her, and that is considered an assault. What she did was considered an assault. So most people think, now, was this Watergate? Of course it's not Watergate. Is this the end of the world? No. I haven't even called for Laurie to resign. I'm not calling for anybody to resign. I'm one of these people that thinks people should resign over stupid shit. Everybody does stupid stuff. Everybody makes mistakes. However, the reason we have to show the video is because you have Dan Shabilia all over Facebook in his little school Nazi group that he put together, saying it didn't happen. And so Kristen Maxwell went and got a restraining order against Laurie because this is now the 5th time that Laurie Keagan has tried to intimidate and assault Kristen Maxwell. And you have to show the courts that you have at least 3 incidences of harassment in order to get a harassment. So it's not a restraining order, it's a harassment order. But to me, it's all the same. Yeah. I mean, it goes in your criminal record, so there's really not much difference other than the way it's executed. So Kristen filed for a harassment order / restraining order. She got it because she has that. She has that prior to this, just to give you a little bit of history, Larry Keagan went and filed a false police report claiming that Kristen threw nails on her driveway because one of her tires was deflated.
Any proof?
Cops went down, looked at the tire. There was no hole. It was one of those days it was like 2 below zero. And they said, yeah, everybody's tire is low today. What is your effing problem? Yeah. So this has been an ongoing thing where she has been she waited for Kristen after the city council meeting when they voted on a vote of no confidence in the superintendent and screamed at her and would not let her leave. She kept getting in her way, impeded her way to leave while she was trying to leave through the hallway. And so I think she's going to go to court on February 13th. We will see if the judge says, yes, this should be extended. Kristen wants it to be extended. And here's the thing, and this is one of those things where I said to Kristen, you were too nice, because she could have gotten a restraining order and asked for a stay-away order because she was threatened and her property was damaged. Yep. And there is this thing called coercive control, where someone tries to damage your property in order to intimidate you, in order to threaten you, in order to show you that they mean business. And that's, as a lawyer, Dan Shabilia should know that. Like, he's not a good lawyer, but he is a lawyer. And he should know that. And so Kristen could have asked for a stay-away order, and then Laurie Keagan wouldn't be able to attend a school committee meeting.
Got it.
All right? But she didn't want to do that. And because she didn't want to do that, now it's being used against her. Now Dan Shabilia and all the people who were on Laurie Keagan's side are running around saying, oh, well, yeah, but it's not really a stay-away order. It doesn't really mean anything. It's they would have said to stay away if it was actually really serious. Well, it is very serious. This is someone who got elected to run a school system. And she's acting worse than the children. She's supposed to be a role model. She's supposed to be the person up there that's going to guide the school system's educational process, through academic excellence to try and bring kids. She's never once brought anything to the table to increase academic excellence. And on top of all that, this is what makes it all horrible, is that 70% of the kids in Methuen can't read. 70%. That's not a made-up number. We showed you the stats on a previous show. 70% of the kids in the Methuen school system can't read, and 73% of the kids in the Methuen school system cannot do math at grade level. And yet, if you think that's bad, that's not the worst. The worst is they're graduating 86.5% of their kids. So they're graduating 85.6% of their kids, but 73% of them can't read. How are they supposed to go out in the real world and get a job? Or they might be able to get a job, but how do they go out into the real world and keep a job if you can't read at grade level, if you can't do basic math? That's the real crime here. The real crime here is if this was Andover, nobody would give a shit. Yeah. Because the kids in Andover are graduating, they're going to Harvard. But the kids in Methuen, 86% of them are graduating, less than 40% of them are getting into a 4-year college, and 80% of those kids never make it to the next year. So I think maybe the courts ought to say, I'm going to extend this. The threats and the harassment have to stop. Waiting for your colleague after a meeting to intimidate her walking to her car has to stop. Accusing her of crimes erroneously, filing false police reports erroneously has to stop.
What did the rest of the board do about all that?
They haven't done a damn thing.
So they should
not
least,
a damn
they
thing.
They should at least censor her and something, because one thing, and I've served.
You're a former school board member.
No.
Oh, you never? No.
I've been on planning boards. I've been on liquor commission. I've done. One thing you can't do is when you in some type of office, some type of board, you can't take things personally.
Yeah.
And you saw in that video, it was 100% personal.
Yeah.
The way she moved towards her, it was for intimidation purposes only. You just can't do that. And if anything, the board should. I would personally ask her to resign, because I
really?
can't. Well, think about it. How can you sit beside somebody
right.
that does that to you? And if you don't see things her way, you got to worry about her making some false accusation or threatening you or doing something stupid like that. Who would want to serve on a board with that? I couldn't do that.
Right.
Because I'd be calling it out all the time. So she should resign. If she has any integrity whatsoever, she should resign from
I think I'm disappointed that nobody else on the committee has condemned it, other than Ken Willett. Ken Willett did condemn it.
Yeah.
Nobody else on the committee has condemned it. The school committee vice chair has not condemned it. I know that the mayor has seen the video. He has yet to condemn it. Although I think at some point he's probably going to. I think DJ at this point is seen enough. And we're all waiting for February 13th. And again, is this Watergate? No, it's not Watergate. However, you've got people who, it's like the Democrat-Republican thing only at the local level. You have people who are on Laurie's side, like the Shabilias, like Heather Plunkett, like Jake Jalbert, who if Laurie Keagan went out and murdered 5 people on video live on Facebook, they would defend it. They would find a way to defend it because it's their guy. It's their person. And so I had no intention, really. I didn't want to release the video. It's going to be adjudicated in court. These videos will be shown in court. But I get very offended when the partisans, for lack of a better word, start defending Laurie Keagan, saying it didn't happen, it's a lie, Tom Duggan's just saying that, he's doing it to distract from something else. I'm pretty sure Laurie Keagan didn't throw her laptop on the ground to cover up for a city council that got in legal trouble. I'm pretty sure that's not what happened.
You know what I think happens in that is they get the story right after it happens, right?
Right.
So they stop believing her. And then that video pops up, and they're like, oh,
Right,
geez.
right.
I opened my mouth.
Right.
I probably should have waited to see exactly what happened.
Right.
Because how do you defend that?
Right, you can't.
No.
No.
You can't.
And again, she didn't beat her up, but
No,
again,
but still.
But that's an assault. And a lot of people think, let me clear this up for those who misunderstand this. The average person thinks I have to hit you to assault you. An assault is getting in someone's face. If you've ever seen those First Amendment auditor videos where a guy's got a camera and he's outside of a post office and someone comes over, why are you videotaping me? And he gets right in the cameraman's face and the cameraman punches him. The cops show up and they arrest the guy that got in his face. He goes, but he's the guy that punched me. You assaulted him. You got in his space, right? You caused him fear. He defended himself because you don't have to hit him first. I don't have to wait for somebody to punch me in the face. If you're coming at me, that's an assault. And what she did under the color of law is an assault. And if you're a school board member who's supposed to be in charge of kids. Well, let me ask this for those of you who are at home. Let's say it wasn't 2 school board members. Let's say those were 2 seniors in the library at Methuen High School. And one senior went over to the other senior in an empty room. Everyone knows they don't like each other. She gets in the other person's face. She sits next to her. She scoots her chair over to intimidate her. She threatens her, and then she throws her laptop. Would that kid be in school the next day?
No.
Yeah.
Would that kid get away with it? No. Then why should the school board member?
I have a question. So, do you agree with Gil on this? Gil, Joe.
Gil, yeah.
I think he makes a better point than I did.
So she should resign.
I understand people calling for her to resign. I'm not going to call for her to resign. I don't think it's my job to call for her to resign. But I understand those who will.
Okay.
And I'm sure that there will be some people who will. I think everyone's waiting for the 13th. If the judge continues it, she's done. If the judge doesn't continue it, then
Who's the judge?
She may, I don't know. We won't know until the 13th.
Okay.
February 13th is going to be the hearing.
You got to remember something. People, it takes a lot to run for office, even in a small town.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work it. You have to go meet people and stuff like that, and they don't get paid.
Right.
You know, who wants to sit there and go serve a board that you got to worry about that stuff happening to you? It's just not right.
But see, bullies always know who to bully, and Kristen's like a mouse. And I hope she doesn't get mad at me for saying this. If you've met her, you know she's a very timid person. She's not a very gregarious. Like, I'm a very gregarious person. I walk into the room, people know they can hurt my feelings. Not gonna bother me. That's not Kristen. Kristen is not a politician. She's not looking to run for mayor someday. She's not looking to run for state rep someday. She has a political career like Dan Shabilia thought. She just ran for school committee because her kids are in the schools, and she wants to make the schools better for her kids and other kids. And she's not an aggressive person. That's just not who she is. So she took it a little bit more emotional, I think, than you and I probably would have. I would have just punched her in the face. I would have been off the school committee in 5 minutes. That's why I should never get elected to anything ever again. There's no way I wouldn't have put up with that.
But if anything, the chair at that time should have did something about it that way. I sit on boards that I have people that are quiet and stuff, but I'm not going to let some other member like try to run them over or something. You can't do that.
Yeah.
We're all there for the same reasons. No matter, we're there to serve our communities. You're not there to sit there and get bullied by somebody because they don't agree with you. This doesn't happen. Those are the type of people you don't want on boards.
So
you got to be open-minded to
liberals,
a certain extent.
I suspect that right now,
Oh.
Kelsey Shabilia and her wife. Nobody can see what's going on off camera.
Yeah.
I suspect that right now, Kelsey Shabilia and her wife Dan are all over Facebook now, deleting all of their messages saying it was a lie and it never happened. Oh my God! Quick, delete that before we.
They have too much ego.
It's too late. We've already got the screen captions. Before we even came in.
That's what happened. We see this even in national news. They all jumped the gun right off the bat. No, look, boom. Then everything starts coming out. You're like, oh, wait a minute.
And we're all guilty of that too in the political world. When someone accuses one of my friends in politics of doing something, our first reaction is, that's not true, because we don't want it to be true.
Yes.
And so I think that Dan, for all of his faults, and they are many, I think Dan got swept up in not wanting to believe that it was true and thinking that because it was his guy, that this was probably being made up and that Tomm is making more of it than it is. And that's why, I want to say, this is not Watergate. Nobody claimed it was Watergate. But when Kristen said that it was true, and then the Valley Patriot broke the story with all the details and quotes from other elected officials and everything, it's on the Valley Patriot website, valleypatriot.com. Dan immediately took to Facebook and said it was a lie. Immediately went to Facebook and said, this is all a distraction from the city council that's in legal trouble, as if, listen, Laurie's not on my side. If I called Laurie and said, hey, can you go assault Kristen Maxwell so we can get that other story off the front page, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have taken that call.
Yeah.
Right? So,
I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to explain something. There's a lot of people that don't understand what Watergate is with Nixon. Can you give us an explanation? Because you keep using that as a reference. I'm serious. There's a lot of people that don't know.
So Richard Nixon had to resign as president of the United States because of the Watergate break-in. Some of his campaign people broke into the Watergate Hotel in the 70s because that's where his campaign, that's where his rival was. Campaign headquarters were, and they stole some of their campaign files. And so he gets elected president, and then it comes out after he gets elected president that some of his campaign workers broke into the Watergate Hotel into his opponent's campaign headquarters and stole their files to make it easier to run against him, right? And he had to resign as president because of it. One
of the best presidents, right?
I think one of the best presidents.
Here's where I'm going to put Tomm on a spot here. What do you think what would happen if that happened today? You think a president would resign?
No. Exactly. No, would never happen now. Oh. No, now everybody, back then even Republicans said, yeah, if this is true, he's got to go.
Yeah.
Right? And
today, a whole different world.
Today, it doesn't matter. Listen, people give Donald Trump shit for saying, if I walked down the street and I shot 5 people, I wouldn't lose 1 vote. And they thought that he was bragging. He wasn't bragging. It was an indictment of the system that Barack Obama or Joe Biden could do literally anything they wanted, and the Democrats would go along with it and think it was fine and excuse it. And the Trump supporters, and of which I am one, but I don't fall into this category, will defend everything that Donald Trump says and does. Now, there are times when I think Donald Trump is wrong. And I come on this show and I say Donald Trump is wrong, and then I get 50 pieces of hate mail from friends of mine going, I thought you supported Trump. Well, I do support Trump when he's right. Yeah. I think he's more right than wrong.
Just because he supports him.
But let me tell you one thing that he said that I'm still furious about that I want to do a whole show on, this whole Epstein file thing. They went to him. He released the documents. They said he would never release the documents. He's never going to release the documents because he's in it. He releases the documents. He gets exonerated. They interview him at the White House, and he says, now this should be the end of it. We've released the files. We gave you guys what you wanted. You cried about it for 2 years. Here's the files we gave you. This should be the end. No, Mr. President. This should be the beginning. This should be the
Tomm,
no,
Duggan.
no.
Do not talk to the president like that. Have a little more respect for the president, for Papi Trump. Okay, you have to have more respect for him.
No,
I just feel like
I'm sorry.
What was Biden doing for the last 4 years? Why didn't he release the files?
He was doing shit.
You got to know where he's coming from. I know where you're coming from.
I'm saying
he should be going after the people.
The people.
But the Clintons aren't they going to Congress at the end of this month to talk about?
But that's what I'm saying. Bill Clinton should be in jail. Bill Gates should be in jail. This shouldn't be the end of it. Now the indictment should start. Now that we have the documents to show that the people were raping kids, you don't say, okay, well, now we showed you people were raping kids. That's the end of it.
He's not saying it's the end of it. He's just saying because of all the backlash he's getting saying, all the crap, all the
You're saying
all
the
people,
controversy.
Yes, all the people. You will go
Maybe.
in the comments and all they say is the files, the files, the files. It'll be something so important, and all they care about was the files. Maybe he meant it in that way, but it seems like Congress is going forward with it.
Yeah, it just seemed to me like he was saying we should just forget the whole thing now. And if that's what he was saying, I'm not for that at all. I think every single one of these people should be indicted. I don't care how long ago it was. Every single one of them. I don't care if it's Elon Musk. And again, if a new document comes out tomorrow and Donald Trump was with a 12-year-old girl, I'll be the first one to say not only should he resign, but he should be arrested, put in jail, and put in general put him in general population. Put him in general population. Let the prisoners deal with him.
Same.
Right.
I just feel like maybe that just came off wrong. You know, he's not really good with
But
words.
my point is that in politics today, unfortunately, and Gil sees it at Salisbury all the time, is, you know, our side is never wrong. And we're going to do everything we can to defend our side no matter what.
Something like that, though, is wrong.
This is why America is falling apart. This is why we're in the middle of a civil war right now. And even though there's no shots being fired for a civil war, well, it's a public relations war at the moment, right? And this is why, like, you know, if the Democrats came out and said, you know, Donald Trump put tariffs on this country and it made us a lot of money, and, you know, we don't like everything else he does, but that one thing was a good thing. Yeah. They would have so much more credibility when they oppose him on something. But they see their side, and the Democrat and the Republicans doing the same thing. They see their job as to be the opposition to the other side. When sometimes, listen, I'm going to do a whole show within the next month after the bash. Good. On all the things that Democrats are right about. And I'm going to piss off every fucking friend I have.
I'm not coming that day, so maybe you can
because
ask Nick to
because
help.
the Democrats are actually right about some things. They're just right. Right, of course they are.
According to you.
No party is wrong about everything. No candidate is wrong about everything. And although I think the Democrats are wrong about 90%, maybe 80% of what they advocate, some of the things they advocate for are good for the country, even though they're doing it for the wrong reasons. Yeah. Right? And so
Venezuela, who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah. The dirty word is moderate now.
Right. Well, 100%.
If you're a moderate, oh my God, you can't be.
And I think that's why DJ Beauregard in Methuen has a hard time, because he portrays himself as a moderate, but then he panders to the left. And people on the right see that, and they go, then he writes a column for the Valley Patriot, and they go, oh, okay, well, maybe he is kind of moderate, but then he shuns the Valley Patriot, and then they go, well, no, maybe he really is on the other side. Yeah. So you're right. When you're the moderate, when you're the guy in the middle, you end up getting it from both sides, and you can never be perfect. You're never going to make everybody happy.
And that takes a strong person, especially if you're in office. If you're a moderate, you're going to catch it either way. Yeah.
All right, I got one more thing that we're going to get to Salisbury stuff.
Yes.
So we have our bash, our Valley Patriot annual charity bash scholarship and award night. It's going to be at the Elks Club March 27th, Friday night at 7 p.m. Boy, do we have a great night. I've got so many surprises for this event. If you've never been to a bash, this is the bash to go to. If you've been to a bash in previous years and you thought it was really good, we've had one bad bash. We've had one bad bash. One. That was the year that Juga sued me. And
the Methuen?
The Tribune front page was him suing me 2 days before the bash.
Okay.
And all the Methuen police officers, firefighters, and school people who already paid for their tickets didn't show up, so we had half a room because they were afraid Juga was going to fire them. He was the mayor at the time. Other than that, we've never had a bad bash. It's always 500 to 700 people every year.
Been to a couple.
Yeah, you've been to more than a few.
You coming this year?
Yeah, you got to come. You were there last year for sure.
He was there. Okay.
I was shocked last year. I looked up in this Gil and I'm like, wow, I haven't talked to him in like 5 years, and he's still showing up.
And I brought a fellow selectman with me, Mike Colburn. He came with me first time.
Did he have a good time?
He did. He had a
good. Please bring him again. We have a lot, and I have a really big surprise, like a big surprise.
Oh.
It's gonna in the room that night. It's huge.
Is it going to benefit me?
You'll cry.
Oh, wow.
No, you're gonna cry. Everyone in the room is gonna cry.
I don't like crying.
Everyone in the room is
gonna
cry.
I don't like crying.
When I'm done.
I don't cry in front of people.
You're gonna be crying.
I didn't even cry.
Everyone in the room is gonna be crying. So we started off our scholarship effort. We're a little late this year. We have a brand new committee. And we only have 4 or 5 holdovers from the last committee. And everybody is very motivated. We're having a bash committee meeting Sunday at Salvatore's, the day of the Super Bowl at 3 o'clock. Some people are going to be there at 3:30, so we're going to break off into subcommittees at one point. So I want to show you where we are. So last week, here's where we were. Nope, that's where we are now.
Oh, I thought you said where we are. You said where we are,
I know. I'm sorry. This is where we were last week at this time when we did the show. We were at 3,235. We had only named one student. That was, two. Evan Cody for the Cody Scholarship and Phil Glendice Scholarship. Kellen St. Marie from Methuen High School. As a side note, I want to make sure everybody in Methuen understands 100% of what you give goes directly to the student. I don't get one penny of what we have. We're looking for corporate sponsors. The corporate sponsors help us pay for the expenses. And we have a lot of expenses, but the corporate sponsors, so if you want to sponsor this event, one of the reasons we are able to give 100% of every donation is we have corporate sponsors. So if you PayPal me $100, PayPal takes $3. Multiply that. What was our take last year? $68,000.
68. I have it here.
So we paid about $1,600 last year just in PayPal fees alone. Wow. So what pays for that? We're able to. So if you give $100 to us, we give $100 to the kid. We eat the $3. The sponsors are what allow us to do that because they make up for the difference of what our expenses are. So if you guys can cover our overhead, we can continue to give 100% of every dollar to these kids. So here's where we were last year, 1,000, and then it dropped off, right? Here's where we are now. A week later, it's starting to pick up. We're $8,510. Wow. The Lawrence High School, John Ratka, Eugene Smith, Junior ROTC Scholarship, right at the top, $2,750. Let me tell you, this Cody team is very motivated this year.
They're very competitive. I like that.
I'm going to be very surprised if they stay in second place for very long. $1,580. Whittier Tech, we've got. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking my bash committee into teams, and I'm going to have 3 or 4 people on each team, and their job is to do extra things on the side to raise money for the scholarships. So our team Whittier is already doing special fundraising events on their own, which is great, and they're already up to $1,450, and that doesn't even include what they're doing with their scratch ticket raffle. Prime Insurance, Doug Mercurio from Prime Insurance started. This is brand new this year for Andover High School. He's going to pick the student. He knows what our requirements are. We don't want any woke kids. We don't want any kids getting 1 million scholarships.
And we don't want kids with old money.
Yeah, we want kids that need the money. We want kids that
Andover
need
is old money.
Yes, and we also don't want woke kids. I don't care if you voted for Barack Obama. I don't care if you hate Donald Trump. But I don't want anybody that hates cops.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone that hates firefighters, cops, veterans. This is a night where most of the money that gets contributed for these scholarships comes from the families of veterans, firefighters, and cops. And I'm not going to take their money and give it to a kid that hates cops. So that's just my requirement. I don't care what your politics are, but that's just my requirement. So we would really love to get those numbers up, especially this weekend. I'm on deadline for the February edition of the paper, so I'm going to be in the office all weekend anyway. All right, so in the studio with me, we've got a guy that, as I said, I've known now since 2004 or somewhere thereof, probably a little sooner, Gil Medeiros, who ran for Board of Selectmen in Salisbury a while back. He lost. He ran again. He lost. And we had these bobbleheads that on the Board of Selectmen that just nodded their head. Whatever Neil Parrington wanted, he said, okay, you can have whatever you want. And Gil got in there, and all of a sudden things started to change, and I was really happy to see that.
I wouldn't say it's me, but we've had a couple of election cycles that switched things
But
around.
you started the cascade. Like, you getting involved and not being a yes man started people thinking more independently and acting more independently.
Yeah, a lot of people stayed in the background, and they started to see things. And, my claim started when I wanted the slot parlor to go into Salisbury, and 3 people made the decision for the whole town. That's pretty much what started everything. And
Was a slot baller.
Yeah, they tossed me off the liquor board because of that.
But what is a slot baller?
Slot parlor was a location up off of 110 behind the movie.
Oh, slot parlor.
Slot machine. Slot machine. Yeah.
Okay.
And which is the weird part. Now I work at the Brook, which is weird because if that was there, the Brook probably would never have been there. But we threw away a lot of money, and 3 people decided, and that's that part that really ticked me off because it should have been a town vote.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had a big story that we broke, I don't know, maybe about a year ago or so, about Lisa Pearson, who's your planning director, who committed slander, accused a guy of. Oh, she's waving in planes over there.
No, my son.
Oh, she's FaceTiming her son and she's waving. I thought she was waving at me.
Yeah.
She's waving in planes.
Yeah.
So your planning director, Lisa Pearson, slandered a guy who was applying to be on the planning board, and she called him a sex offender. And she didn't just call him a sex offender. She sent emails to all of the town fathers, all the elected officials, all the appointed officials, calling him a sex offender and threatening them if he got appointed to the was it the zoning board, planning board, to the planning board. Did anything ever happen to her?
That was before my time. I wasn't on the board at that time when that happened.
Yeah, but you were around. You followed it.
Yeah, I followed it. I think everything was dropped at that point for some reason or another. That I don't know the particulars.
This is what makes me nuts. People get to do these things and they never pay a friggin' price. They never pay a price.
Yeah, yes.
And we looked into the property. She nominated someone that was actually renting from one of her properties to be on the planning board in place of this guy that she slandered and called. His name is Tony Giordano, and he sued the town, and he should have won. There was some kind of procedural thing where they kicked it out, but he should have won. Like, you can't call someone a sex offender if they're not a sex offender. Like, that's Methuen stuff. Like, that's something I would expect from a Kelsey or Dan Shabilia, not someone I would expect from somebody distinguished.
Sure, it was a black eye for the town a little bit. Yeah, I admit to that, but it just how those things were at that time. The stuff like that could happen, but
you say at that time it was like a year and a half ago.
Well, a lot's changed in a year and a half. Yeah. The board switched over to 3 seats, 3 different people, actually 4 right now that are in that whole board. So it's changed a lot, and a lot more transparency. Lisa is no longer our planner. She's no longer with us. Neil decided for a change, and he went about it. And so a lot of things have changed. It just takes different people to be in different places. And we appointed Ron to the zoning board of the ZBA. He's doing a good job there. It's just, unfortunately, in the old days, they used to play. Look, it took me 5 times to get on the planning board. I know. On the planning board, and I ran also. It took me 5 times to get on the board of selectmen, but I was persistent because. I think you know me enough. I don't care if
they robbed you that first time you ran. They robbed you. Yes. They literally robbed you.
Yes. I lost it with 17 votes on that one. But it's just one of those things. I'm persistent about it. But people see that. You guys like myself and the majority of that board now. We try to fight for the little people. We want to keep the middle class in there and right buildings, and we just got to. It takes a lot, and it takes a lot to switch it over from the old mentality because we've lost. Salisbury's a town of no's. We said no to a casino twice. We said no to the power plant, which was supposed to be going. There's so many things we always say no to.
Casino would have been great at Salisbury.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I'm not pro casino. I'm not anti casino, but I'm just looking at it economically.
Yes.
Salisbury's dying economically. Salisbury's dying. And you're right on the border. You get Hampton. You get all kinds of benefits to not being in Salisbury and being there. And as a summer destination place, most people I know don't even go to Salisbury anymore. They go to Hampton. They go to Seabrook, or they go somewhere else. But they're not going to Salisbury unless they like the old times.
I don't think so because I think our beach does very well. Now that we get the big block, which is that whole section where Uncle Eddie's, that's the only that breaks my heart is Uncle Eddie's.
Me too. Me too.
Mike Pachuca ran a great spot there, but we knew that building needed to go down because it's falling apart. So
but look at all the corrupt. And I always say
something there now. Right?
What's that?
Aren't they building
big block?
Something?
Well, yeah, they hadn't started yet, but it's in that process now and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that whole section once it comes down, you get the condos coming in. I think there's going to be a little bit of commercial there. The biggest thing we hear all the time, let's bring it back how it was in the 70s with all the rides.
You can never bring anything back.
No, and you can't because it's not economically feasible.
We've been hearing that about downtown Lawrence forever. When are we going to bring downtown Lawrence back to what it was? You're never going to do that.
No, it just especially for rides and stuff like that, just the math is not there and the insurance. It's crazy for a 4-month window if you're lucky.
Right.
And that's the thing. And we're just changing it to a little bit. It looks a little bit different. You got the Blue Ocean, you got a great music venue there. Right. You got Hungry Travel Restaurants have been there forever and a day. Kevin just took that over. It's just little stuff like that. Still got Joe's Playland that's been around for.
Right. I feel like that maybe needs some revamp.
Joe's?
Yeah.
I love Joe's.
Because they have like 2 spaces too. Aren't there like one across the other?
They have 2. Yeah.
And I don't see it as busy.
Oh, you got to go there in the summer.
I do. I go there often. That's my favorite. I go to the reservation part. But I also go to.
I will say there's nothing better than going to Salisbury Town Center or Salisbury Beach Center when it's in the middle of the summer and it's raining. Right, and it's like one of those dreary days. There's not a lot of people around, but everything's kind of open.
Pizza.
That's the best time. I love to go that time. I would rather be on the beach when it's like just drizzling a little bit and it's cloudy. There's not a lot of people around. I love it. I love Salisbury Beach. But I say on this show all the time. If you think Methuen is corrupt, if you think Lawrence is corrupt, Lawrence and Methuen combined pale in comparison. to the corruption going on in Salisbury. I mean, the corruption going on in Salisbury is huge.
I wouldn't say that.
I know you wouldn't. You can't. You know,
What is the number one?
You should know me enough that if I thought something, if that's.
I look at Neil Harrington and I look at the crap that guy has pulled just since I've been focusing on Salisbury the last maybe 10 years. And I look at the crap that guy has pulled with the boardwalk to nowhere and building on the marshes and violating EPA standards.
See, I disagree. That boardwalk, that boardwalk is probably when that big block finally connects and all that stuff like that. That boardwalk is actually very nice. I've walked it. I've sat there. I could bring my twins can go up there. As you know, my twins in wheelchairs. They can go sit up there and just sit there, and you're sitting right at the ocean. So I don't agree with you on the boardwalk.
Maybe it's changed, Tom. It's been a year and a half since
I could see certain parts of it, and that one I'm going to defend because I like it.
All right.
And at the end, I can play little congos on the play ones over there, by the way, which I like to do.
I have a question. What's the number one issue right now in Salisbury? Is it drugs? Is
Intern girl for the win.
Yeah, there you go. Number one issue is probably development. That's our thing.
Okay.
We could try to control the development because, we had some issues with a Forest Road project there that got jammed down to us.
You have a lot of flooding issues there, too.
Yeah. There's a couple of places that me on the planning board, I voted against.
Where
that
Eddie's place.
Yeah. That took a lot of water, and that'll change a little bit. But I'd say development's our biggest thing. If we're a small town, every town has its issues and stuff like that. But the best part of town is the people. It's amazing the stuff we do there. Yeah. And things like that.
There's still a strip club there or no?
Yeah, there is. Tens is still there.
Tens.
Yep.
Yeah, but they should call it fives now.
Yeah,
because it used to be tens.
And what do they have now?
I think when Paula and I broke up in 2011, I was single for the first time in 11 years. I think I went with a couple of my friends because I was single and I was rambunctious, and I went in and they were tens. We walked in and they were tens.
Yeah.
And about 2 summers ago, a friend of mine was like, hey, I want to buy some ads in your paper. Where do you want to meet for lunch? Where do you want to meet for drinks? Hey, why don't you meet me at 10s? And I'm like, yeah, I haven't been there in a while since Paula and I broke up. I'll go down. I walked in and I'm like, no, they're going to change this to 5s.
I think everything changed after COVID.
Kittens does a better job than that. I mean, come on. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I mean, anybody, you're all laughing, but am I wrong?
I've never been to a strip club, so I don't know.
You've never been to a strip club?
Never.
I hate strip clubs.
Never.
All my friends loved strip clubs when I was younger. I would go, but I would go with them. But you would think like a horn dog like me, you would think would love a strip club. I hate strip clubs. To me, a strip club is like taking a kid to the pet store, letting him play with the puppy all afternoon, and then saying, "Okay, we got to go home now," and we leave the puppy there.
But they can't touch her.
How does that help?
No?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like. You can't wave that in front of me and then say no and then walk away. Like
I think strip clubs, the way they used to be in the '60s and the '70s, are a little dirty. But today, they even when I was on the liquor board, they were on a tight ship.
Yeah.
They don't screw around because that license is
all right.
So it's in both spots. We don't have too many issues there at all. So
I remember the first time we went to Kittens, I didn't know it was a strip club.
Yeah,
but my friend Andrea Trafficante's friend or brother-in-law, I think, owned Kittens. So a guy wanted me to meet him to talk about advertising again. He said, where do you want to go? And I said, well, what's that place that connects on what you see on the way to Newburyport? He said, Kittens? I go, yeah, you want to go there? He goes, okay. So I thought I was going to go in and have, like, a drink. I thought it was like a lounge.
What? You didn't know what?
Kittens. I didn't know. Kittens. I didn't know.
If you saw the building, it's deceiving.
It looks like a lounge.
But the name, though.
Yeah.
No?
Well, I mean,
the Kit Kat Lounge.
You say that because you know now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know now, but if you didn't know in advance and I said Kittens, you wouldn't have guessed a strip club. I didn't anyway. And I thought they were doing a better job than 5s.
Wow. Yeah.
Just saying.
5s? You mean 10s?
I got 10 looking for 5s, is that what you're saying? Yeah. But there's and the other thing is, too, is we always forget the center of town, too, which we have different restaurants there and stuff like that. We're redeveloping the Lafayette Road, which is Route 1. We just got sewer there. So you can see a lot of changes because Salisbury's not all about the beach. We got
right. Well, I was just going to say that the biggest controversy that I've seen, other than the development issue, is that the way that the seasonal residents are treated versus the year-round residents. And I remember when Tomm Saab was on the side of the good before he sold out to Duggan and Capilupo and all those guys, and he was on the right side. And he used to get up at every one of those meetings at Blue Ocean that you guys have once a year. You have that Salisbury meeting, and he would get up every year and they would complain that they were just raping water rates out of the seasonal advertisers who weren't there for 8 months of the year. And they were charging them anyway for water they weren't using.
It's funny. I used to agree with that until I got on the board. And I'm going to tell you why. when Neil explained it to me, the town manager.
Oh, are you going to tell me that Neil corrupted you already?
Let me hear what I got to say first before you start
all right.
complaining. Fine, you're not using that water, but guess what? If you're not using your cable, say on TV and stuff like that, you still got to pay for it, right? You could have the TV totally off, but we still have to maintain all that. You still have to maintain the sewer pump, the sewer plant, everything. You got to maintain those pipes. Why should you get a break because you're deciding not to use it?
Well, because I'm not using it.
But still, it's you have access to it. The pipes are going to stay there. Everything stays there. Once you turn it on, everything's still working. You don't have to do a bunch of different things. Why should me, that lives there year round, eat the whole bill? When you're sitting in your summer home, you come.
Well, because you're using water for 8 months and I'm not.
But why should I pay to maintain the system all year long and you get a break when you still have it?
Well,
that's your option.
Because that system is not being eroded by me not using it.
But that's your option.
The system is being eroded by you using it, so you should pay more.
But it's still your option. You can go there anytime. Nothing says you can't go there in January and turn it on.
That's true.
And then you're talking about the people that want to remove meters, which adds cost to that. And when it was still, our bills are not that bad that, you want to complain, go to WMRA, and then we'll have the argument. but what we charge for water and sewer there, come on, we probably one of the lowest towns in the county that you can live in and still be affordable.
Right.
So that's the way I look at it now. And I was that way too. Like I used to think. Then I thought about, sure, I got to pay 6 guys to be in the water department. I got to pay the maintain. That pipe breaks, if you're not there and stuff, you're still going to come home and that thing's going to be fixed.
Right.
You got to somehow support that,
What do you think right now is the trajectory for the next 5 years for Salisbury? And again, you have the people, the part-time people versus the full-time people. It's almost like two separate towns.
Do you have a lot of illegal aliens?
Actually,
do you? Do they have?
She's killing me.
Why?
Because I just don't see you hit me with this type of stuff.
She's a Trump supporter.
I know. I'm like, it's weird, but well, I honestly think that you're starting to see a lot of the homes down the beach being lived year round.
Yeah,
I think it's starting to be more and more because in today's age, it's to maintain 2 houses, and especially one on the beach where you're paying for it. It's a lot tougher. There's still a lot of snowbirds that go up and down and stuff like. But I'm starting to see families go down there. They get their house on the water. They like it, and they're raising their kids and that type of thing. So
I always wanted to live on the water at Salisbury when I was younger. I always wanted to retire at Salisbury because when we were younger, we never thought Salisbury would change. You always thought it was going to be like the way that it was. And I always wanted to be like down by. So when I was a kid, my dad rented it was the last cottage. So if you take a right at the police station, you go straight all the way down where the sand dunes are.
Sure.
It was like the last house before the sand dunes. So there was no traffic, there was no walking. We never did deal with any people, and there weren't very many people on the beach either, unless they were walking to the rocks. They would have to walk past us. And I always was like, that's where I'd want to be. Well, there's not a lot of people, but you're on the beach. You're far enough away that when the ocean comes in the wintertime, it's not usually a problem. Sometimes, but usually not. And I always want to do that. And now I look at it and I go, yeah, this is not the place I don't think I want to be anymore, at least like to retire, just because of like the economic devastation of what's going on downtown.
But it's
no, not downtown, but downtown the center.
Yeah. But that's changing. You're starting to see a lot of building that way. And, when the big block gets up and going, that's going to
explain what big block is.
Big block is it's being built from when Uncle Eddie's is all the way down to the Dolphin. You familiar with the Dolphins? Mm-hmm. That whole strip is being knocked down, leveled, and they put in. I think it's. I'm gonna say last number. I think it was 300 units. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna be condos.
Condos. Yes.
Affordable?
Condos are horrible.
What's that?
Are there gonna be any affordables?
I think there was a couple in there. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah. And then and then we got the old police station. We just sold that off. The town sold that off.
So did you build a new police station?
Yep, the new police up on the right hand side.
The police station used to be where like those bathrooms are.
Creepy.
That place is creepy.
They're not there anymore.
It's good. We sold off that property. They're gonna have like condo/hotel there.
So what happened? Oh yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna ask that same question.
Oh, okay.
What's the
so
question?
I even was gonna ask this question. Gail's saying, what's the rent for a week at the beach? It's expensive. I've tried to look at places there to go for my kids, and it's not affordable.
It's all depends on what the cottage is, or if it's a house rental. Like I've heard up to $4,000 or $5,000 a week for a house there, which is. But then again, you go down the street to Hampton, you're talking double. We're talking double, and you're on the same beach. You could tell me all you want how great Hampton is, but when you walk on that coast, it's all the same thing.
It's all the same coast.
All the same.
But I feel like, is there any regulations about, I'm not saying pricing, but maybe, I don't know, is there any regulations about people renting their homes, Airbnb?
No.
Nothing at all?
No, I wouldn't be in favor of something like that either.
Do they pay taxes?
Oh, yeah.
They pay taxes?
Yeah.
Just crazy
Think about
expensive.
it. The tax on a house on the beach, it's a lot of money. When Tomm says he always says 40%, I think he says, of the budget is down at beach. It's more like, I think 37 or 38%, but yeah, they pay a lot of taxes there. So,
but damn,
we got the people.
$4,000 for a week.
We got the people that will call up and say, it's this way we don't have to worry about the sand, all that stuff. Maybe level it all off or something, get rid of the houses. How are you going to make up for that taxes?
So we have a mutual friend that I met the day I met you. We were on a cruise with Kevin Leach, and that was Bruce Tarr.
Yeah,
and that was before Bruce Tarr was a state senator. So imagine that cruise. So it was me and him with Kevin Leach and Bruce Tarr on a cruise, and that was when we all met. I knew Kevin, but I only knew him a little bit. And he'd reached out to me and said, "Why don't you come? I'm doing this thing." He was running for Essex County
County
commissioner at the time, and he's the guy that exposed all the fraud with the sheriff's department. In fact, he went into witness protection for a while because of that.
You know what's funny about that story is when I first met Kevin, I was probably 22, 23. I gave him my check. So I took the test to get on the sheriff's department because I'm retired from the sheriff's department, and I gave him my check because I wrote out to a gun safety course to take the test.
Wow!
So that check, he asked me, "Do you have that check?" I go, "Yeah." So I gave it to him. So I never put two and two together. I just figured it was a different fund or something.
Yeah, no,
I didn't realize it was private.
Yeah,
which took down that sheriff.
Sheriff Reardon. He went to jail for that for 20-something years.
In Salisbury?
Yeah. Essex County, and so I met Kevin, and I fell in love with Kevin right away because we had started a paper, and we were trying to root out corruption too. That was kind of our mission. And he was this one guy that stood alone. Nobody stood with him. Nobody helped him. He was kind of like when you first started, right? Nobody was on your side. And I was like, wow, we got to do something to help this guy. And then he went into witness protection. We didn't hear from him for like 15 years. And 5 years ago, I looked up, and he walked into the bash, in the middle of the bash. It was his first day back from Florida. And I said, "Oh, my God, I thought you were in witness protection." And then I realized what I said into the microphone. And he went, "No, you're all good. You're all good." And he stayed the night. But we met Bruce Tarr. And so I've had a love relationship with Bruce for a while. I think he's probably a little too liberal for me, but I think he does a great job. And I think he's one of those guys that really cares about the details when something's going on. So whether you've got problems with sand erosion, whether you've got problems with the marshes, with the flooding, whether you've got zoning issues, he's the guy that carries the ball for Salisbury, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
All your other state officials up there, not so much. But.
Yeah, he does a hell of a job. There's two people that I see as the governor of Massachusetts. One is Diane DeZaglo.
100%. Well,
and number two, Bruce.
Yes.
Those are the two.
Listen, Bruce is the one Republican, and I think I called him a year ago, and I said, "You're the one Republican that if you ran, could win in Massachusetts." I don't think there's any other Republican. I don't think any of the people running now can win. I don't think any of the people that are thinking about jumping into this race can win. I don't think Mike Minogue certainly cannot win. Although he's going to spend a lot of money, and I like that. Yeah. He's going to be doing the outreach, which is good for the voters. But I don't think they can. I think that Massachusetts is what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Democrats can do no wrong. Republicans are fascist Nazis that are burning Jews in ovens, and it's all this extremism crap. And I think Massachusetts is the pinnacle of that. So I think if Charlie Baker came back and tried to run, I don't think Charlie could win.
Here's the thing that's funny about Massachusetts of all the years, because my first campaign that I worked as a kid was for Nick Bravoulis.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a little kid. That and then Peter Torrigi, the mayor of Peabody. That's where I'm originally from. But one thing about Massachusetts, even though we're very, very liberal and stuff like that, they don't like that one-party rule too much.
Yeah.
Because you don't got the other one watching the other one. And we see it every time there's a one-party rule. We spend a lot of money. We spent a lot of money that we probably shouldn't have spent because our local communities are paying for it right now.
$1 billion for illegal aliens.
Which is
$1 billion.
A year.
$1 billion.
A year.
With a B.
Yeah, and our Chapter 7 money for Salisbury is like $170,000 this year, which is crazy. Yeah. So we look at that, and even the most craziest liberal towns don't want that. They want somebody that's going to say, all right, this is what they're spending on. Mm-hmm. They want that little watch. They want the little not the bad. I wouldn't say rat, but somebody that would say, hey, you can't do that. Yeah. So I think Massachusetts could see another Republican governor if it's the right person.
I want to disagree
Diane, I
with
look
you.
at different on that because
I want to
Diane's
disagree with you, Tom. You
How
know, with
dare
the whole
you.
audit situation,
Yeah,
they're not
nobody
passing
cares.
that.
Nobody cares.
No, I'm not saying that. Voters do care.
No, I don't think they do.
I think they do.
Well,
Maybe
you know-
there's a
you know
chance
when-
there. The bills, the electric bills, that's expensive. That's through the roof, and that's because of Healy. No, I feel like people are noticing things. We're paying for it on a monthly basis, so we see it.
I hate to burst both your bubbles, but the legislators, think of whoever your local legislator is right now, North Andover, Lawrence, Methuen. They all voted against Diana DeZoglio. Every single one of them, even here in the Valley where she's the most popular, she's at 90%, 86% popularity in the Merrimack Valley right now is her favorability rating. And they all voted against it.
Why do
And
you think?
they're all going to get reelected. Polino's going to get reelected. Moran's going to get reelected. Estella's going to get reelected. Hamilton's going to get reelected.
Probably.
Ramos is going to get reelected if she runs. They're all going to get reelected. So you can say that they're upset about the audit, but they're not upset enough to throw their rep out that voted against the audit. And that's why
Well,
I look at the governor's race and I go, well, why would that be any different?
But we voted for it.
We voted.
Doesn't that matter?
We voted for it, and your rep voted against it. And your rep's going to get reelected, even though he voted against it. So what incentive do they have to vote for it next time around?
You have to get a candidate that's willing to go out on that.
Right, on that one issue.
And say, hey, listen, we spoke, and you've seen me at my posts. I always
I love watching you. I laugh my ass off when you talk.
Yeah, it's one of those things that with her, she's pushing the issue. 72%, they're ignoring 72% of it, which drives me absolutely
presidential
batshit crazy.
ballot. It wasn't even like
yes.
a local thing. It was a presidential ballot.
So that's the thing. And if you get a good candidate that will go after, if you saw a couple of reps drop, or a couple of state senators lose their gig because of that, you'd see it turn like that.
I agree.
But
I agree. But I
you
just don't
need
think
somebody. A lot of people won't do that fight. It's a tough battle. you
no
know?
Democrat's going to lose unless they lose in a primary to another Democrat. Maybe you might still, if Polino runs and you got Marcos and you got Selena, maybe he could lose because it's a primary, it's all Democrats and nobody's a fascist who's putting Jews in ovens.
It doesn't matter who's
Yeah.
there, like you said, though. Right?
Right?
Didn't you say that the other day? It doesn't matter who gets the position.
Yeah, they're going to still vote the same way. Right. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Unless they vote on this, unless they campaign on this issue.
Why don't we campaign for people to call the reps? And
Yeah, well,
put pressure on
there's-
them. Can we
see,
do that?
the problem is that the people that are doing that are Republicans, so now they go, yeah, but you're a Republican, you're a Nazi.
Well, I can't.
So
I
you
can't
can't listen
vote
to the Nazi.
Republican for a state rep. Nobody's running.
Right.
My state rep is Stella. I haven't heard anyone else running, and I'm sure if someone else is going to run, it's going to be a Democrat. I have to vote for one of the
I'm
two.
hearing, and I don't know how true it is, but I'm hearing Wendy may run against her.
That's what I heard too.
And if she runs against her, I think that's going to be a tough race.
But Wendy is not going to vote
I think-
towards that. She's
no,
not going to put pressure.
no,
She
she'll
probably
vote-
doesn't even
and
know
she'll
that that's
vote for
happening.
and she'll vote for the billion for illegal aliens, too. She'll vote for everything. You're right. No matter who wins, if they're a Democrat, they're going to do what leadership tells them to do.
That's because especially if you're fresh.
We
but
have
the
a
thing is
hater
you-
on the chat.
But the thing is you have to have somebody that's strong enough to take that on and say, hey, you got to listen to the people. You listen to your constituents. They're telling you they want to see this.
Yeah.
And for them to like snap, turn their nose on and say, we don't care.
Yeah.
That's. But you got to be one serious candidate to be able to hit it. And because people are going to look about the good that those other state reps and those senators do. Because all right, they did one bad thing. They're not. Which is a huge thing, especially now you're seeing everything happening in Minneapolis with those child care places. You're seeing the fraud there. You're seeing, SNAP got busted here in Massachusetts.
Well, how much? 11 million?
Yeah.
And you know it's like triple that.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Because we all know that the joke around, even if you saw some type of welfare fraud, you called their investigation. What do you want me to do? I got 3 people here.
Right.
Doing the whole state. They don't look at it that way. But now all this stuff is starting to come out. We're seeing towns raise their taxes because they got to try to make up for that money that they're going off. We're getting hit on taxes on our cable boxes. That's being added on to it. You're going to get word is they're going to touch the excise tax. So when you start seeing that and you start seeing all this money going around that shouldn't be going, and you're getting whacked.
Are you campaigning for anybody for governor?
No, not right now.
Do you have somebody you like?
No, I haven't done enough of my homework on it to
I'll tell you
that.
who I really like, but not running for governor. Is Ann Brensley's running for lieutenant governor.
Oh, really?
If anything, I would want a Republican to win just so she could be lieutenant governor. I love her.
She's
Yeah.
really
She
good.
came on the show.
I haven't-
We had
I've
like
never-
She has
6,000.
a website about this whole. I don't know what was it that she was talking about? Was it the audit or something? She
Yep.
has a whole website, and she's very like she does a research.
We had like
She's good.
8,000 views. She was on the show 2 weeks ago. We had like 8,000 views within the first week.
Oh, you have
Wow.
a hater, Andy Cedrone.
Oh, he hates me?
Yeah, he hates. You know who that is?
I don't know.
It's probably a fake account.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
what
a
is it?
hater.
That's all right. But that's.
Oh yeah. So you donated to Donald Trump, so you're an evil fascist right wing Nazi.
I didn't donate.
No. So
yeah.
people just talking out of their ass as always.
If anytime you disagree, that's the other thing too. Is like, and believe it or not, I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat. I vote the person. I try to vote the person. Yeah, even though I probably lean more towards the Republican side because the old Democratic Party I grew up with is gone.
Oh, they're gone.
Oh
yeah.
my God!
If John Kennedy came back from the dead today, he'd be a Republican.
It's like John Turney's and those guys. It was just a different world.
Yeah.
And I know I'm up there. I'm 57, but it's like holy cow! It's just what happened. You know what I mean? And that's the scary part of it. So it's one of those things.
Do you see any effort in politics? On my end, I don't see it, but you're on the inside. Do you see any effort in politics to ramp down the rhetoric, to ramp down the extremism, to, all this Nazi bullshit, all this fascism bullshit, oh, you're a pedo, and all this other crap that the small-minded people, for some reason, who have now been elevated on both extremes, and they are on both extremes, more the Democrats and Republicans, but it's there. Have you seen any effort at all to de-escalate this? Because I'm not seeing that at all.
No, because I think you see certain successes from this administration, and they'll do anything to counter it.
Yeah.
So instead of being grateful for your country, they don't look at it that way.
Yeah, and they would have so much. Like, he does something good. If they just came out like once or twice a year and said, we stand by the president, he did a good job on that.
Yeah.
Then the next time they attacked him, people like me will go, oh, well, you know what? Maybe Trump is wrong about this. I want to hear what you have to say. You'd have credibility. My mind would be open. But when it's a Donald Trump drank his coffee wrong today and he's
like who's the surprised United States Senator that
Fetterman.
Exactly. Like he sees it. He calls it out as he sees it.
Right.
That's you can't. That's what.
And
you
now
want.
he's getting savaged and primaried by his own party because he's not hating enough.
Yeah, and he's going to.
He's not hateful enough.
Whoever's going to run against him is going to get smoked 2 times over because he's liked because of that.
Yeah.
We all laughed at him. He's sitting there with his sweatshirt and shit, but the guy kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Well, what's funny is when he ran, he didn't make any sense at all because he just had a stroke.
Yeah.
So he was saying shit. I kept saying, how does this guy get elected?
Yeah. See,
when he can't even talk. Like, he can't even talk.
40 years ago, the guy wouldn't even made the ballot.
No.
But
10 years ago, he wouldn't have made the ballot.
but the people saw, they obviously knew him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you can't. And what I hate is when people take things personally, like this guy's hating me or whatever like that. He doesn't know me from freaking Apple. Right. He doesn't, what my thoughts are and stuff like that. And I got a friend, my mutual friend, you know him well, John Eustonitis, who serves on SCTV with me and stuff. Total opposite. But me and him, we've served on boards together. He's my friend.
He used to be my friend.
I'm okay with his opinion. He's okay with mine. At least I think he is. I'm okay with his opinion, and I respect that. But people today, it's like, no, you're just a freaking idiot. You don't know what you're talking about.
But he's one of those people out there. He's one of those people out there crying Nazi, fascist, Nazi, Nazi, Nazi. He's escalating, not de-escalating, and I had to walk away.
Yeah,
a long time ago.
And I understand that, but I just want. But I try and I've had some good meetings in town that got contentious, nothing like that school committee one, but enough that person that we're going back and forth about an issue, I still respect him. At the end of the day, shook hands. Hey, what's up, man? It was a good meeting. Whatever. You got to be that way. You can't take things.
You have to be willing to be friendly with people. Like if I saw John tomorrow, I don't like John. All right, I'm just going to tell you out of the gate.
Yeah.
But if I saw John tomorrow, even though I have a personal issue with him, I would still say hi to him. Hi, John. How you doing? I would maybe even buy him a drink.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, let me buy you a drink? Because there's nothing wrong with being civil. I think one of the disconnects, one of the reasons why, and maybe we could do a whole show on this. One of the reasons why a lot of people don't like or trust politicians of any stripe is they watch a politician that says something about the other side being bad, and they believe it and they agree with it. And they go, yeah, that other guy's a horrible person. I can't believe that guy would do something like that. And then they go on Facebook a couple of days later, they see these 2 guys are having dinner together, and they're laughing and they're joking. And they go, well, wait a minute. He got me to hate that guy. But now they're behind the scenes having fun. So they see that disconnect. They see the dishonesty. And they see that these people are phony when the cameras are on. And then when the cameras are off, they're totally different people.
Yeah.
And I think that turns people off from politics. I think it's one of the reasons why. What was your turnout in the last Salisbury election? 15%, 20%?
Yes, something like that.
Okay,
Yep.
That's disgraceful.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about 15 to 20%, and I say this in every election, you're talking 15 to 20% of the people registered to vote. You're not talking 50% of the town.
No.
That's disgraceful. You have, Lawrence has 90,000 people. Intern girl, how many people showed up for the mayor's race? 15,000, 10,000?
13,000.
13,000 out of 90,000 people, right? And that was 40% of the turnout. I think they said 40 or 50 of the actual voter turnout. That's disgraceful.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that you have that, one of the reasons I think you have people not voting at all at the local level, is they tune on their city council or their school committee meeting, and they see guys yelling at each other and calling each other names, and then they walk into Hungry Travel and they're sitting there having dinner or having lunch, and they're joking and laughing. They go, wait a minute. So none of this is real. It's all fake. It's all scripted. And then most of politics is scripted.
Sure.
One of the reasons I like you is you're a real guy.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I like you. I like Kristen Maxwell. I like Patricia Valley Methuen. I like Dos Santos and Ronnie Marchand. They're real people. They are when the camera's off who they are when the camera's on. Yeah. And then there are other people who, when the camera's on, they're one way. When the camera's off, they're a totally different person. Yeah. And I think there's too many of them.
Yeah. You just, like I said, if you're gonna run for office, you can't take things personally. Yep. You can't. You gotta. The other people are there for the same reasons you are, to try to make the community better. And you might disagree with them. You might be right. They might be wrong. They might be and you're wrong. You have to look at it that way. You can't sit there and go after somebody's character, because that's what drives me nuts. And like I said earlier in that video, I would be tearing her apart left and right about that. That you can't do that crap. Doesn't fall for me. You don't like it. That's a you problem.
I'm just trying not to go too far the other way, which is why I haven't called for her resignation.
Yeah,
is like I don't want to pretend that this is Watergate. I don't want to pretend this is the biggest scandal, in the world. But it is bad. It's bad what she did. She intimidated and assaulted a fellow school board member, and I think there has to be consequences for that.
That's
especially when you're in charge of kids.
That's a character issue.
Yeah, it really is.
So that's the problem. If you can't tolerate that somebody doesn't agree with you. I don't want you even.
If that happened on the Board of Selectmen, what would you guys do?
I would call. We have had an incident years ago where we had one of our selectmen that ran into some problems in the ethical part. I would have asked for resignation, because if you can't be trusted to if I screw up in a certain way, I wouldn't want to sit in that board, because you're killing the integrity of that board. Right. And you have to look at it that way. If you do,
I never thought about that too. Like, you're talking about the reputation of the board as a whole.
Yeah, because that body, you're representing that body
right.
that you were elected to, and you're representing the people. And if you do something to that effect, you shouldn't be sitting there, because that's not what I'm sure your constituents don't want to see that crap.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just you can sit there and have a disagreement with somebody, but you don't have to intimidate them like that. That's,
right.
What was it, when the 40s grabbed the guy by the neck, in the old days out in the back, those days are gone. It's okay to have a different opinion or whatever. I would call right away.
What does Salisbury do for veterans? Every town has to have a VSO now. As of I think 15 years ago, they passed that law.
They do. We share the one with Amesbury, and we just got a new gentleman, and I'm ashamed I don't have his name with me right now, but we share it with Amesbury and stuff. We do a little. We share our veterans agent.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
We do a lot of that stuff with the animal control and that type of thing.
So how does that work with Salisbury? If you're going to share it with another town, you've got a homeless veteran, or a veteran that needs food, or a veteran that needs some kind of services. How does Salisbury go about providing those services to those veterans?
They get a hold of the agent, and he does what he is. I've never had one complaint. Let's just say that. Yeah. About anything. Yeah, never. And the veterans are very well taken care of, and they show up for the Memorial Day and 9/11, all that stuff, and I think that's one thing we got right 100% over that. One thing we're still blue collar enough that we care about that part. Our 9/11 Memorial that we do every year down in the library is second to none. Yeah. We have people come out, we do a ceremony and all that stuff, and Memorial Day, same thing. One thing about the people of Salisbury, we're a community, a very tight community. When the Boys and Girls Club got hit that time, was broken into, everything was stolen, the whole community came out and donated and stuff like that, and that's one thing about Salisbury that you don't see in too many communities.
Does Neil Harrington have a shelf life here? Do we eventually just get rid of him? Can he just leave?
The way I look at it is with him, and I had issues with his personnel, years ago that I brought out in public, but after sitting down and seeing things like that, overall, I think nobody's going to be 100%, man. Mm-hmm. Nobody. And I think overall he's doing. Look, our town's in good shape. You know, we're in the black. Most of your towns are all hurting and stuff like that. We have the Triton thing going on. We got a few communities like Raleigh that throw a wrench into a lot of the stuff with Triton, and Overall, I think he does a good job. You know, you're never going to agree with anybody 100%.
Yeah.
It's never. You know, did he have some issues in the past with hiring and stuff? Sure, he did. A lot of things that were.
Well, I'm going back to the character issue.
But like,
I don't like people who lie.
Yeah.
And when I tried to get public records, he lied, and then I had to have stick a state senator on him. He lied to her in front of me. And then I had to call her like 6 months later for something else, and she said, "Hey, you never did a story on those documents that you got." I said, "'Cause I still haven't gotten them." That was Katie Ives at the time.
Yeah.
Who was a left-wing Democrat that I'd supported.
Yes.
And she said, "You never got those documents?" I said, "No." She called him, and that afternoon the documents were ready.
Yeah.
And that's the character of Neil Harrington. That's why I have a problem with him. Whether it's violating the open meeting law, whether it's violating the public records law, it just kind of seems like he belongs in Salem. Like, go back to Salem where they do that stuff and not Salisbury.
Yeah, I like I said, I never had that incident with him that way, and I'm not familiar with that one because it's going to be a good. She's been gone for 12 years now, right? Ives. She's been gone for a while. She's been gone for a while.
8 years maybe.
Yeah. So that's a long time ago and stuff like that. But I know the dealings that I see, how our tax rate, our sewers, and staying pretty consistent, and that's pretty good for, he's what we call the old school Democrat. Right. That still believes in a budget.
Well, he's much more conservative than you would expect a guy like Neil Harrington.
And I honestly think too, because he ran for mayor of Salem again, and he lost. If the people really,
I wish I could take credit for that, but I can't.
Yeah, but that's Salem's loss and Salisbury's gain. That's the way we looked at it.
That's not how I look at it.
Yeah, well, you got a different perspective, and I understand and I respect that. But what he
did to the sisters.
That
was just the end for me.
Yeah. Which we had that discussion before with the sisters and stuff like that. And like I said, nobody's going to be 100% perfect, but you can respect the job that he has done for Salisbury. Overall, it's been pretty good. People still want to live there. We're still a blue collar community. We have, even though we got down the beach where we have a lot of upscale people and stuff like that, but we're still old school. We show up for everything. We got in the Lions Club, which you're part of, our Lions Club second to none. The stuff that they do down there.
You've got a great Lions Club.
Pentagon House.
What do you do outside of politics?
Me?
What is your profession?
I'm retired from the sheriff's office, and
Okay.
I work at the Brook Casino in Seabrook, New Hampshire, as a security supervisor.
Oh,
I
good
do
for
that.
you.
Yeah, which is a charitable casino. Which is pretty cool. A lot of
And
members like
so, where is that casino?
Seabrook, New Hampshire, at the old Greyhound Park.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, right there. It's all different now, but yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
All right. What is coming? We have to wrap this up, but what is on the horizon other than all this development baloney that's going on? What is on the horizon for Salisbury? What do you see a year from now, 2 years from now? What do you see being the number one thing you guys end up having to deal with?
Well, now that we've got a community development person hired, Bill Lesser, as I told you before, now that we started doing the sewer project, which we're almost close to done, still probably a year and a half out because the state's putting in the rotary and everything. I think once we start developing that Lafayette Road and Bridge Road, which is the main routes through town, that I think that's going to help us a lot.
A lot of controversy about the sewer on Lafayette, right?
There was. It took a couple of votes to get through, but once people realized that we needed that, and now our biggest thing is to make sure that the betterments stay low enough that we're not going to destroy them. My house on Rabbit Road in Salisbury, I paid 2 betterments because I have a garage with an apartment, and so I know what it feels like to pay that. But the key is to make it affordable for them, so this way they could stay there. And I grew up in Peabody. I didn't even know what a septic system was. I was like, what do you mean I got a pump? What are you talking about? So I was like shocked that I had to replace it. I'm like, oh, so it's stuff you learn. But I think that's the big thing. Once we get that developed at Lafayette Road, you can see the big block start building up. We're going to see the police station turn over and little things happening down there. I think that's the up and coming.
What are the chances, final question, what are the chances that Gil Medeiros runs for state rep?
Never.
Never, really?
Never, no.
I think he'd be a great state rep.
No, I'd be terrible. Newburyport would hate me.
but that's because they're left-wing extremists. They're left-wing. You're a moderate, right? So
yeah.
You're a Bruce Tarr. You're a Bruce Tarr moderate. Like one of the reasons I love Bruce, I disagree with him 50% of the time. And when I say to him, I can't believe you voted for this, and he says, Tom, I can't believe you support that. But we're still friends, right?
Yeah.
And so that's, one of the things I like about him is that he's not an extremist. But I think a moderate like you could run for state rep. Who's your state rep now?
Dawn Shan, which she does a pretty good job for us and stuff like that. So
I'd love to see you run for state rep. I think we need more moderates.
I worked for C.J. Fitzwater when he ran, and he's probably would have been the guy for me
All right.
to get there. But I wouldn't touch that with a 20-foot pole, my man.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Not me.
You know who I miss? I miss Kelkos.
Yes. Yeah,
I thought.
good people.
Now,
What year was
what
this?
Kelkos
talking
was a
like,
state rep.
ooh.
Yeah.
Kelkos was a state rep like 4 years ago, right?
Yeah,
He's-
the 2 year. Yeah, it's just she's going on to second term. Yes, 4 years ago. Yeah, he's now on the parole board.
What is he doing now?
Parole board.
Oh, he's on the parole board.
Yeah, he's a lawyer. Yeah.
He had to be appointed by Charlie.
Sure.
Okay, because this one would never appoint
The
him.
one,
on the parole board.
the only one county, only one governor's council that voted against it, which was the one from Essex County, who is now the
Eunice?
No. Oh my God.
Oh, Duff.
yes,
Eileen. I love Eileen. She's one of my left-wing lunatic friends.
Yeah, she wasn't a fan of her, but
She thinks Elizabeth Warren's too conservative. She thinks Bernie Sanders is too conservative.
My
Wow.
God.
And by the way, she's at my bash every year. She donates
her.
to our scholarships every year.
Yeah.
She's as far left. You can't get any more far left than Marie Duff.
and you can respect that. See, that's what
I
I mean.
love her. Not only do I respect her, I love her.
Yeah, see,
I love her.
That's the good part. That's the good part about politics is you can have that. You guys being totally opposite.
I called her one day. There's a local judge who was up to be a judge, and my ex, who was a lawyer, was writing letters to all the people saying, "Don't hire this guy. He's a horrible guy." She made up all kinds of shit. So I called the conservatives on the board, and I got a little leeway with them. And then I called Eileen, and I said, "Listen, let me just tell you what this is really all about. Let me send you the documents. Let me tell you what this is really all about." She said, "I voted no first time around. I'll look at it." She called me back 2 weeks later. She said, "Tommy, I can't believe I'm saying this, but you're 100% right. I'm going to vote for the guy." And she changed her vote. And that guy is right now a judge in Essex County because she was the deciding vote. She flipped her vote because I was able to show her documents that there was a campaign of disinformation against this guy because of his connection to me.
Yeah.
And I felt bad that he was hurting because he was connected to me. By the way, best pig roast in the Merrimack Valley. I'll bring you next summer when he lives in Andover.
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten that because there have been times when she's called me and said, "Hey, can I just ask you something? I'm just kind of curious about something. Can I pick your brain?" And we'll talk a little bit, and it just feels good. And maybe I'm just a crazy person, but it feels good to be able to talk to somebody whose worldview is so just mirror opposite of everything that you believe in. And yet we're not calling each other fascists and communists and Nazis and Hitler and all that other shit, and that you're a bad person because you believe differently. And when it's over, she's like, we haven't had lunch in a long time. When are we going to have lunch again?
Yeah.
And I think if there were more people in politics that could do that, not be phony about it.
Be open-minded, sure.
But you stop with the Hitler shit, stop with the communism shit, and just talk. I learn more from my enemies than I learn from my friends. I learn more from people who see the world differently than I see from people who agree with me.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow as a person. And I grow every time I pick up the phone and I talk to Eileen Duff. She's been on the show. Every time I pick up the phone and call her, I learn something.
Yeah.
Whether it's about humanity or about politics. So,
Exactly.
would you ever want to be like on one of those kind of boards, like a state board, parole board?
Oh, yeah. That I
You
do.
would?
I do something like that, sure. Like I wouldn't mind ABCC. Or
I
something
love
like
the
that,
Kelkos on the parole board.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that. I don't know how that got past me.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
He ran for mayor. Did he win?
He lost.
He lost.
Which was very surprising, but I think
Mayor of Amesbury.
and Amesbury, they're hurting financially pretty much too.
Really?
They're one of those towns that
So we have a newspaper box at Amesbury right outside the post office.
Yep.
So we do have Amesbury readers. And I know we have Amesbury readers because when Lenny Mira's doing deliveries and he's late, I get phone calls.
Oh, there you go. So,
Hey, I'm from Amesbury. We haven't seen a paper outside the post office.
Do you
Where
know-
is it?
There's
Do
a
you
guy
know who
we
David
miss.
Hill is?
There's a guy we miss, Lenny.
Oh, I love Lenny.
We miss him.
He's on my bash committee.
Yeah.
He helps us every year. He just gave us $1,200 for our Whittier kid. Yeah, $1,200 out of his pocket.
What was it? One vote? One vote.
One vote.
One vote.
Yeah.
I lost by 17. He lost
They
by one.
literally stole that away from him. They were going through the recount, and if you filled in the circle but you didn't fill it in all the way, like they have to go by the intent of the voter. And so if they filled in the circle but they didn't fill it in all the way for his opponent, they were counting it. But if it wasn't filled in all the way for him, they were not counting it.
Yeah.
And they literally stole, I think it was like 13 votes out of him. He went from winning by 13 by losing to losing by 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's theft. Like that, you stole that election.
That's
I don't.
crazy.
People
That's
can say it's impossible to steal
Democrats.
elections. Trust me, I could write
Democrats.
I could write a book on how to steal an election.
Hey, before we go, I got to do one plug because I'm also the chairman of CTV. Which
Okay.
It's the same thing as what we do here, but we don't have.
We're at North Andover Cable Access, and they are awesome.
This place is absolutely beautiful. This is what I want to see in Salisbury someday at CTV. But we own our own radio station, Cool 94.1. So check us out.
You should give me a show.
Anytime you want, come on down.
I would love to do a radio. I would love. I always said I would never do radio again, and then my friend Jonathan Bergeron convinced me to do a podcast before nobody even knew what podcasts were.
Yeah.
Right? I'm in my 8th year doing podcasts. So when I started, there were no podcasts.
Yeah.
Long before COVID. And I always said I'd never go back to radio. But if you guys were running the station,
yeah, we do.
I can trust it. My deal is, you sell ads on my show, just give me a small piece of it. If I sell ads, I'll give you 50%.
That's where we're a little bit different because we're based on this model here because we're
You're government funded?
Yeah,
so it's no sponsors.
Yeah, we can get sponsors. Sure,
Okay.
we're looking into that. Like I was just asking the kid here, that's something we have to do because as we all know, cable revenue is going down unless we get some of that streaming money.
Yeah, you got to get.
So we're going to get hit. So that's the other thing we could put on this show is call your state reps, your state senator to push that to that bill. I forgot the number of the bill right now. I'm terrible with that.
Email me information on that.
Yeah,
and I'll push it out to my state rep friends.
I'll
give it to Ryan Hamilton.
Because if you want this type of stuff to continue, this type of building, your type of shows, because in Salisbury you want to do a show like this over there. That's why I asked if we can get.
I would love to go back to radio if I had a radio owner that I could trust. But I left radio because I was doing radio for 35 years, and I had the same deal with every radio station owner. You sell ads on my show, give me 20%.
Yeah.
I sell ads on my show, and I'll give you 50%. But when I turn the microphone on, no one tells me what to say, and no one tells me what not to say. And I don't want to hear grief after the show that you shouldn't have said this or you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
I want total freedom. And as long as I'm not swearing, as long as I'm not getting
not breaking
sued,
the law, as long as
right.
you're not breaking the law. So that's one thing about community. We can't if somebody came to SCTV and said they want to do this type of show, that it could be the craziest thing. We can't say no to them because they have that right to do that.
Do you have to be a Salisbury resident?
No, you have to do a show. No, but to be a member, you have to be a business there or a Salisbury.
Okay.
Resident.
Well, we deliver in Salisbury. Does that count?
That I would have to look at the bylaws.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think maybe we started something new today.
Let's go.
How about that?
On the radio?
You'll come back on the show?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Bring somebody with you from Salisbury next time. Maybe somebody from the town. We could do some substantive stuff.
Sure. Yeah. I'd like to see have a couple people.
You can come to the bash this year for sure.
Yes,
we got to have you at the bash.
And I'm gonna see if I can.
I felt so
get Mike
good.
to come up.
I had such a bad night physically because it was a lot of work to do the bash and to set it up. And I was sitting there with intern girl and Doug Mercurio, and you came walking in with your buddy, the other selectman.
Yeah, Mike Colburn.
And you introduced yourself to intern girl, and I thought, here's a guy I haven't seen in like 5 years, and he still comes to the bash every year. And that means a lot to me because that's more money for the kids. It's more money for TMF, for the homeless, for the veterans.
People come together.
And I can honestly say, if you've never been to one, go see it because you're going to see such a different diversity in there. It's like crazy. You got the Republicans, Democrats.
They're all sitting together. They're not on separate sides of the room.
Bikers.
It's just a good old time. And
we had 4 police departments and 3 biker groups.
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out, do we not put them together?
Yeah,
Like, do we separate them?
You put them at the door for security.
Yes.
That tells you everything alone right there. So if you haven't been to one, go to one, donate it. It's all great causes and stuff like that. And
Gil Medeiros, you are a selectman from the town of Salisbury. We definitely want to have you back. It's one of the things I like about having you on the show, and I realized it halfway through today's show, is that you were willing to jump in and talk about the Methuen stuff. You're willing to talk about all the other stuff, and those are the kind of guests that I think our audience.
You guys
really
were having a
loves.
conversation like you guys were for lunch.
Right? Yeah,
It was great. It was
exactly.
great.
And for the guy that's on the guy that's throwing us hate on here, what's his name? I want to get his name right here. What's
He
his
deleted
Rick
some
something?
of the comments.
He deleted them. That's too bad.
He made
He
me
should have
cry.
left them there.
He told me to go find
But
a husband.
did he?
Go find a father for those kids.
Wow.
But what I wanted to say is that, you look and you see there's 16 people watching us live. When we go off live, that number is not accurate. Facebook never has live accurate numbers. Yeah. The minute we go off the air, it's going to show like 800. Right? It's going to show the people that we're watching. So what it's counting, when it says 16, that's not how many people are watching. That's like how many people have just checked in.
Okay.
Right? And then you lose that number, the next person, somebody. I don't know why Facebook does it that way, but we notice that we'll see 16 or 9, and then we go off the air and it says 8:59.
It's
or
Andy.
7:20.
Andy's a drone. You know him?
No.
Oh, okay. He was attacking you, so I don't know.
Maybe he just doesn't like
it's
me. I don't know
Welcome to my
anybody.
world.
He's like Tim Sheehy. He's like Tim Sheehy. I don't know anyone that doesn't like him.
Yeah, although that's not true. But there are people that don't like me, and I'm okay with that.
Who?
Oh, there's plenty.
Like the extremists.
Yeah, well, yeah, some of them are just some people. Me being a straightforward guy, because I call it out. I call out everything.
Do you get along with the sisters?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I get along with them. I call the stuff out that I see, and if it gets corrected, it gets corrected. I try. So, But some people don't like that. Some people like the old school, very little transparency. And that was one of my first words when I first ran the first time, transparency. You got to.
But not like Pavel Payano transparency.
Yeah,
right?
do the people's business in public. That's the key. You know what I mean? That's just the way I look at it.
Right. All right, let's thank our sponsors. I could sit here for 2 hours and talk to him.
I know.
Right?
You guys were good.
It does feel like we're at lunch.
Yeah.
Right? So do you like Salvatore's?
I do.
Someday we'll spend the day.
Absolutely, yep.
My lunches at Salvatore's are like 3 hours. We go in, we tend to be there for an hour. And then, like you know, right? We were there with.
I love Salvatore's.
I think the day I met Yanilda Santos, the future Mrs. Duggan, we met on the deck at Salvatore's, and she said, I only have about 25 minutes. We met there at 1, and 6:30 we were still there. The sun was going down. Wow. It was hilarious.
What's your dish there? What's your dish?
That's why she's.
What's your favorite dish at Salvatore's? You got to tell us.
I like the steak tips.
Steak tips.
Yeah, she likes the steak tips.
Those are
steak tips
so
are
good.
okay. No, they're good. I mean,
they're so
controversy.
good. So good.
But I have way better favorites. The butternut squash ravioli, you cannot get it any better than at Salvatore's. It's the best dish anywhere. And the veal masala is amazing. And I don't
like the Italian food.
I don't like to buy pasta when I'm out because I look at 99 cents for a box, right? You're going to 99 cents for a box of pasta.
It's not the same. Some people make their own pasta.
I don't care.
And the sauce.
Have you eaten a Capri? Have you gone to Capri yet in Salisbury?
No.
Go try that out. Try
Capri?
Capri.
Like Capri Sun?
Yeah.
Or Capri?
Like Capri, well, the Italian Capri version.
Well,
Oh, okay.
I'm having dinner with Kristen Maxwell right after the show. Why don't you join? You got someone to go after this?
I do.
okay.
Busy day, Friday night band practice and stuff
She
like
just
that.
texted me
I'm
and
in
said
a band, Salty Side Down. Check us out on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a rock and roller. Yeah. I try to be anyway.
John Savastano said, good show, guys. He's always supportive. Nice. What do you do? You
I'm in a band. Yeah, I'm in a band.
What do you play when you sing?
I drum and I sing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And where were you playing?
Right now we went on gigs because one of the other guys had shoulder surgery, so we were quiet for a little bit, but Salty Side Down. We used to play down on Coletti's and play the Gracie's a couple
Salty Side Down.
It's another place. Gracie's, you've been to Gracie's down in
Gracie's,
Salisbury?
yep.
Good little bar.
Gracie's is it still there?
Still there.
Is it still Gracie's?
Still Gracie's.
Same owners?
Same owner.
So when we had our secret summer bash, which most people don't know we have because we don't publicize it.
Except that one year you had at the club there.
Right.
Everybody showed up to that one.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So we have what we call a secret summer bash, and it's for all the people that volunteer for the bash to try and help us. They can't enjoy the night because they're walking around selling raffle tickets. They're serving food. They're doing math. So the people that work the bash, we do what we call a secret summer bash. We always do it in Salisbury, and we did it there that year. And I got up and I did stand up, and I hadn't done stand up in about 5 years, and I don't even want to say it publicly. I made a joke about the sisters being lesbians and not sisters.
Oh, jeez.
And the whole place, I was like, I may have to go back to stand up because of the reaction that I got. But they walked out. They were so upset. They got because they were a different generation.
They're very
You're talking about your editors?
They're sisters, and
I know.
a lot of people think that they're twins, and so I just made a joke. It was just a joke that I said something like, "You guys all think that they're sisters and they're twins, but technically they've been lovers for 10 years." And it was just a joke. And I thought it would go over well because everyone knows that they're sisters.
Oh, man.
But but that was a great night. We had a couple of bands played that night.
Yeah,
and,
it was crazy.
It was free booze for everybody. We worked the free tickets. That's the wraparound. You're not allowed to do free booze.
Yeah.
But if you give out a free ticket, you can do it that way and then pay for it at the end.
Yeah.
And we might do that again this year. Maybe we'll do. Do you know the owners of Gracie's?
Yeah.
If you want to talk to them, maybe we'll do it there again this year.
Go down and see Lisa. She's been owned it since day one, and
Last year we did it at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah,
we didn't want anybody to know where we were.
Yeah,
so
right beside it. Yeah. Another good spot.
Yep. So, all right, Gil Medeiros, I really appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you guys.
I want you to come back on again. I want to do like a 3-hour show with you where we just talk about everything. That's going to be fun. And if you have a candidate, by the way, for a governor or anything, please let me know. Just kind of so I know. You can roll up Mel. I'm going to be meeting Kristen. And we have a bash committee meeting Sunday at 3 if you want to join our bash committee. We need some help. We need some help raising money for these kids because we're late this year because I broke my neck, so I was down for about 6 weeks. And so we're a little bit behind schedule. Last year at this time, our balance was $15,000.
Okay.
And right now we're at 8, so we're about half. And so we got to make up that time. So anybody that wants to come, we're looking for corporate sponsors. We're looking for business sponsors. We're looking for individual sponsors. You can buy tickets on Eventbrite. And let's thank our sponsors. Century 21 McLennan Real Estate. Brando's going to be opening a new spot at Harrison's here in North Andover. Total Mortgage. Did you hear that?
What?
No, good.
Brando's?
No. A total Zany Pesh Law Office, On the Go Notary, Hungry Traveler, Merced and Son Construction, EIS, Investigation and Gun Training, Tomo and Shaken Seafood, Clear Path for Veterans, New England, AFC Urgent Care. Big shout out to Zaka. I love that guy and his wife Tamara so much. Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors. With
it takes the music off.
intern girl Kim. Thank you very much. Dave Idconsoli.
David.
Prime Insurance to Dave Idconsoli. Prime Insurance to Doug Mercurio Law. Doug is going to be our MC this year like last year.
Yes.
And instead of Chris, his co-MC is going to be none other than intern girl Carlotta Castillo. Stadium Chiropractic, Lambert and Randone, and a free shout out to our buddies at JG's Ice Cream, as well as, who did I forget? Hungry Traveler. Hungry Traveler's now on.
Nice.
So it sounds like Melvin Taylor says you got to go home. So go home already.